So sleep is one of those things where now the research has shown that it is actually bidirectional. What do I mean by bidirectional? For a long time, we were thinking that if you have pain, you won't be able to sleep well because obviously pain interferes with your quality of sleep. And so they thought that if you have chronic pain, you can have sleep disturbance. And if you don't sleep well, then that will mean that you get up with more pain. That was well understood and it was logical. What the research has shown is that for any reason, if you are having disturbed sleep anyway, for example, stress, for example, night shift working, or you are deliberately reducing your sleep time because you're watching TV for longer hours in the night, or you're going out for a lot of parties, or whatever your lifestyle has, wherein you're deliberately cutting into your sleep time, then what you are doing is setting the stage for chronic pain to happen. So you're making yourself more vulnerable so that when a small injury happens, it can become chronic much faster because you are coming with the vulnerability of poor sleep patterns and poor sleep hygiene already. So that is what I mean by bidirectional, is that it does not mean that pain will cause sleep disturbances. It can mean that if you have already got sleep disturbances due to a variety of factors that are under your control or not under your control, then it makes you more vulnerable to chronic pain. That's the bidirectionality. Why does it happen? When you have sleep, let's say an 8-hour sleep cycle, what we know is that your sleep cycle itself is average around 90 to 100 minutes. And in one sleep cycle, you have a period of rapid eye movement, and then you have another phase of non-rapid, NREM, non-rapid eye movement, which is the deep sleep. So our body, and when we sleep, we start with light phase of sleep, we go to deep sleep, then we come back to light phase of sleep, then we go to deep sleep. So each cycle of light phase of sleep to deep sleep back again is around 90 minutes. And like this, we have 5 to 6 such cycles in an 8-hour period. And what has been noticed is that when you sleep for average 8 hours, you have more of the deep sleep in the first half of your sleep time. So when you start sleeping, you spend more time in deep sleep in the beginning, and then you spend less hours of time in deep sleep in the second half of your sleep cycle, early morning time. Why is that important? During the daytime, whatever memories, whatever activities you're doing, whatever stress you're facing, whatever time you are thinking and emotional, all those things have to be processed. It's like during the daytime, imagine if you're having a football game and you are having a fully packed football stadium and all the seats are fully occupied and there's a lot of rubbish and drinks and everything thrown there. There is a time that has to be given when the seats will have to be folded up and the cleaners will have to come and clean up the aisles and make it all clean for the stadium. The deep sleep is the phase where the brain will open up its channels for cleaning up of all the material during the day, the waste material that is collected during the brain processes. It also has to give the time to archive the memory. So like a librarian who is looking after the books and has to put the books back in the right place, your memories of that day, your short-term memories of what all memorable things you have done that day, some things will have to be discarded and thrown off, so you'll never remember again. Some things will have to be archived into long-term memory so that it is ready to pick up when it is required. That activity also happens in the NREM deep sleep phase. So the deep sleep phase is important for these two, very important, the cleanup process and the archiving process. Both these are relevant for chronic pain because chronic pain often is when these memories are not rightly curated and archived properly, you have loose strands. When you have chemicals that have not been fully cleaned up, they can interfere with the signaling and they can confuse the traffic policeman who's at the junctions saying that this is immune inflammation and make it go. So that is the vulnerability that is introduced. And when you sleep less hours in the beginning, or when you have excessive night shift or disturbed sleep time, and often most of the time when our sleep is disturbed, we eat it in the first half of the sleep is what gets slept. Instead of going to sleep at 9:30, 10, you sleep at 11 o'clock, one more serial, one late night movie, one extra dinner with drinks. All of this eats up into the first half of the sleep, which is where our deep sleep has to happen. And these are the reasons why when sleep is disturbed, it puts you at a vulnerability for chronic pain, because then you might have a mild twisting injury in your knee, or a mild sport injury in your gym, or you might have a twist in your neck when you're working. That normally your brain will fix it and sort it, curate the memories and clean up and go on. But because your sleep is already disturbed and the nerves are already sensitized, that can become the last straw that breaks the camel's back, and you're putting at risk of chronic pain. So this is how sleep disturbances can itself predispose to chronic pain, and why we need to pay attention to sleep hygiene has a way of hopefully preventing chronic pain, but definitely has a strategy for managing and overcoming chronic